Hi everyone. Sorry for the delay. I'm
Yeah,
not usually a not tech savvy person, but I don't know what's going on.
I don't know
Something's
what's going on
happening.
either.
Got my clipboard. Why everything I have is purple today?
My
Hey
child.
friends. Hi Dasha.
I'm
Who's
kind of
here?
matching too.
Oh, purpley twins. Okay. Hi friends. Thank you for joining us over here. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, I don't
Are
know
you
what's
ready, girlfriend? Do you wanna jump right in? Do you wanna anything funny, like the funniest thing that you remember from your reread?
Oh
Or
gosh.
something that stuck out to you? I asked that question without one in my own mind, so icebreaker.
Oh,
Anything crazy? Is anyone rereading along with
yeah.
us?
The
And you can.
funniest thing is I love that we're back in with like I love Lucian. I love
Oh my God,
his attitude.
he is a feisty man.
Yeah.
And I remembered that I thought he was an older man. Like I thought he was like a barren age man when I first read it. Like when I was at this part, because he references Tamlin as like old son, which is like a
Mm,
term that an older man uses to a younger man. And
yeah.
so when I got to it again, I was like, this is why I thought he was old. But I guess is he younger than Tamlin? I don't remember. He has to be.
Well, yeah, he said he wasn't alive for the war because she asked him like how old are you? And he's like,
He's like, I'm
shit,
not
girl, I'm
that
not
old.
that old.
Jeez. Dash is rereading EOS. Do you want to do the swap? And since we just talked about hosting and reading the caption or reading the chat,
Oh, it doesn't matter to
it
me.
doesn't
I'm
matter.
still trying to figure out how to share. For some reason, it's not letting me like share this with people.
I reposted and shared, so hopefully, and I put on my story that like it wasn't working on mine, so hopefully we will get people to see that.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on today with this, but it is
We should practice.
making me mad. Like, what the hell is going on? Oh, okay. Here, let's see. Now I got it. This is so dumb.
Okay. Oh shit! I have my notes. If you didn't hear already, I'm in my car because I have 3 kids and it's lunchtime and nap time and craziness. So there's no escaping the noise. I need some peace and quiet. And you're kidless today too, so we're
I
twins.
know it's like it's nice, but you know.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. I don't know. I feel like I look so weird right now. Sorry, everyone, if I look weird.
You look beautiful. All right, you guys. So, I guess we're just gonna jump in. We're gonna try to keep it within the chapters, but there's no rules to this game. Okay, we're just going all over the place. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start? What do you think?
Let's see. I gotta get all the way back to chapter 6, right? That's where we started. Let's see. The very first thing that I have highlighted in chapter 6 was on page 49, and I'm like trying to keep a better eye out for like the lore. Like so
Okay.
is my sound okay since I'm using this mic? Is it weird?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Like at the bottom of chapter 49, it said, or not chapter 49, page 49, it says, that was the first rule we were taught as children. If misfortune forced you to keep company with a fairy, you never drank their wine, never ate their food, ever, unless you wanted to wind up enslaved to them in mind and soul.
Yes, I highlighted that too. Which, okay, you saw them. You know the mythology podcast. Everything I highlighted so much stuff that is Prithian is the underworld. And this is the rule of the underworld. You eat in the underworld and you are beholden to the underworld. So
Yeah. It made me think of the Persephone with the pomegranate seeds and
immediately. Which is so funny because that's one of the big things that I highlighted too. But could we just one more second go back to 47 at the very bottom where last paragraph it says, of course it would be magic because it was spring here. What wretched power did they possess to make their land so different from ours, to control the seasons and weather as if they own them? And this is the harp. So this is the harp at play, and it says when the harp is talking to Nesta, it says he or she, whatever. The personification of the harp says that everything pays fealty to the harp: seasons, kingdoms, time, everything. So the reason that they in Prithian have controlled weather is because of the harp. And it's just interesting because obviously we know that it's Daglin, and trying to connect it to the underworld. I guess you're kind of, it just makes you think, what was the original purpose of the harp? Why did they make it? Why?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of each tool? The helly. Missy always has great little quips, just coming in with the hot stuff. So, but yeah, so then it takes us to your little blip, which everything I highlighted, I feel like I was really going for the Persephone and Hades story as well.
Yeah. I feel like there's too many things that I'm like trying to keep an eye on. Like I'm trying to keep an eye on that, the lore. I'm trying to keep an eye on like mentions of spiders. Like
yes. The webs.
Yeah.
Hi, Arnicha.
Helps.
Wait, go back to Dasha. She said, what's strange is that Feyre can smell magic and it smells like iron. Iron cancels magic, which is true. Does it can't, but that, maybe that system, like Angie was saying, doesn't totally exist the same way in Prithian, but yeah, it's like metallic-y, which is from the story. It's so funny. It all goes back to it. But yeah, I wonder why every time they use magic, there's like the metallic tang or twang.
Right. Or if that's like, is that specific to Feyre? Because we also know like Nesta can't be glamored. So do they each have their own like little quirk that like might be?
That's very true. Well, that's a really good point. Like, I need to think about that. But also, can't even get off. I have like 3 sticky notes to a page, so I need to just chill. I'll try to keep it together. But that second paragraph on chapter 6, first page of chapter 6, it says, basically talking about the gravel path to the doors, hushed and sleeping above the array of amethyst irises, pale snowdrops, and butter yellow daffodils. And then it goes on the next couple of pages to describe a bunch of different kinds of flowers that she notices. And then we know that Elaine is like the flower girl. But what I think is significant is that Feyre is the painter. She notices the color, light, shapes. That's something that is triggering to her and is beautiful for her. She also notices the painting on the wall in the manor, which is the vase full of flowers. And it's like, she's in awe of this painting. And there's, again, just the connection of like, the story of Persephone is that she's seeking flowers, she's seeking beauty, she's seeking this connection to her mother. And that's what the underworld tries to fulfill for her. So it would make sense if we're on this cycle that we're talking about where they already have it set up. It's like, this is this beautiful place, this girl who keeps coming back, or this generational thing where they're like intrigued, they're lured in by these certain things that she's noticing. I could go on about it forever, but I just think that's so cool.
I know. I also noticed she's like picking out flowers that she's actually painted in her house. Like in
the daffodils.
And the wisteria that's outside of her.
I didn't even think about that.
That's literally what she climbs down the window.
And the foxglove.
Yes.
The foxglove on her table, it's in an alcove, and foxglove is like metaphorical to the underworld. It is representative of the underworld. It is an omen for danger. So, and she looks at the foxglove on the table right before Tamlin comes into her cottage. So, Feyre paints all the flowers she first sees in spring. That's so true.
And when she's looking at
the cycle is in her mind.
Yeah, when she's looking at the foxglove on the table, she's even having these thoughts of like, oh, it's chipping away, it's leaving. Am I going to be forgotten just like my painting is forgotten? And then she's taken away, and she's constantly worried about like, do my family even remember me? Like, are they going to remember me? Like, are they surviving without me?
And I know this is, I don't want it to be obnoxious, but I'm going to seek the connections between the Persephone story constantly. But the opposite end of that is like, the whole point is that they want her to forget her connection to the world. So not only is she worried about being forgotten, the whole point of the lure into the underworld is to forget her connections. And that happens. The Hades stuff, it happens with Tamlin. So,
but I will say,
I think so too.
What I've noticed a lot in these last few chapters, I'm really, really seeing the Beauty and the Beast story.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I know it's supposed to be like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it is like, well, like in your face. Yeah. I really do want to go back through. I ran out of time, but I was going to go back through the lore of like Beauty and the Beast in general and to compare, but I didn't have time before.
Yeah, I like the idea that Feyre is the enchantress, and that, well, when you like, if you assume that Elaine and Tamlin are meant to be Beauty and the Beast, I like the idea that Feyre is like the enchantress that sort of gets him into that beast mindset. I love that theory. And Dasha and Missy, I was trying to agree with you, but I didn't want to interrupt Megan. But I agree that I think she's like a clairvoyant seer. Do you feel like that could be an aspect of her cycle, that she can like see these things? That's why she's painting them.
Oh, Feyre?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I guess I didn't think about her being, because I picture Elaine being a seer.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I definitely see that too. Maybe in a different way, where there's like people who have like, I don't
Yeah.
know, but like an oracle or like a seer, could they be different?
Right.
And there's also like different versions of Claire, like Claire cognizant, Claire sentient, Claire. They
Right.
represent your different senses. One is like just all knowing, one is seeing. So the fact that Feyre has a lot of dreamscapes,
Mm-hmm.
I think is like maybe just a separate version, a branch off of.
And like
She
Missy
painted the
said,
adder.
she painted the adder and she didn't know what it looked like.
When was
But
that?
that also that feeds into my suspicion of what is Reese putting into her mind. Because I think, and again, this is a crack theory, I think he's already there. Like while we're reading this, I think he's already in her mind.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I agree too. And she has like the dream. She has the dream from what we just read, right? Because I get it confused from what we've already read. But yeah, he's definitely, and he's like in her dream, obviously. I wonder too if the mercenary was Reese, but which is weird because he's giving her recommendations and advice to like not go into Prithian. But that's just I think it's a cool concept to imagine. What if Tamlin is because we're forced to be faced with like, is dark bad or is light bad? And then we have in the different worlds where like one world dark is bad, one world light is bad. And then we have dark and light in Prithian, which we don't know which is which. It's a cool concept to at least think about the fact that could Tamlin be the one who this whole time has been, at least the beginning, like pulling her back into the cycle, and is Reese trying to claim her? Are they battling it out for her? Whereas it doesn't eliminate Reese of doing anything, but is Tamlin in it for his own cycle, his own bargain with the mom?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it's in these chapters specifically, like now that I know that there's a curse, right? Like we know about the curse now, but we didn't the first time through. Now it's very obvious that what he's doing is trying to break this 50-year curse, trying to get her to like fall in love with him. Like he's going out of his way to try to be kind, even though he's really awkward about it. And he's like, oh, my day canceled. Do you want to spend the day together?
He was so butthurt.
She's like, no. Yeah. Which also like just kind of makes me mad. I don't know. I love Tamlin. I still love Tamlin. And I know this is just like jumping ahead, but I had a lot of like all my little tabs. This is just from our reading. But I'm trying to pay attention to how powerful Tamlin actually is, because we hear how powerful Reese is. He talks about it all the time, but he doesn't really show us. Where Tamlin doesn't talk about how powerful he is, other people do, and he shows us how powerful he is, and his magic is supposed to be suppressed right now.
Yeah, and he also has a lot of the same things that Reese does. He has invisible hands. He can read her mind, and you could say that that's a mate thing, but then
and he
has a lot of the same powers as Reese.
He can shift other people. Reese can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I think he is more powerful. I think he is I mean, this is of course getting onto more of my theories, but I think he's a threat to Reese. I think Reese views Tamlin as a threat, which could be why Reese is trying to pull Feyre away from Tamlin, trying to everything Reese does at the heart of it, it seems like it's to hurt Tamlin. That's what it always comes back to, and it's like, why are you so obsessed with him?
Yeah, I know that a couple people, I think Bex and a couple people were putting like sword crossing videos, which are so funny. Okay, wait, let me see. Dasha was saying there's a version of the Beauty and the Beast called the Scarlet Flower, and the difference is that FMC is the youngest daughter of 3. So that goes back to your little thing. That's so cool. I wonder if it's in the Brothers Grimm, which is why I bought it too last year. So we should look at in the Brothers Grimm.
What's it called? The Scarlet Flower. I'll grab it right now.
Hamlin, Ash River, Galathinius, Raw Magic Supremacy. That's so funny. Speaking of, there was a random mention of amethyst right before Tamlin walks into his giant oak doors. And that is the pairing of the gate in Crescent City. One of the gates, you know how each gate kind of represents a region? I think that's this is not exactly accurate. It's in my other notebook, but there's a gate represented by an oak tree and an amethyst gem. Every gate is represented by a stone and then like another symbol. And it's an amethyst with an oak, and that represents like the human or just a portion of it. But it's interesting because the imagery is there for Tamlin's manor. Okay, wait.
I wanted to.
Reese is more powerful because he owns 2 courts, but Tam has a starlight pool. I do, yeah, Tam has a starlight pool. I don't know. I agree with what you mean, Dasha. Not like what you mean. I'm trying to put words in your mouth, but I think that because, like, when Dusk existed, they didn't have courts. So I think, yes, like in a general sense of like he absorbed that land, but the court didn't have margins before, like when everyone left and when Dusk was no longer a place. So just as far as like, I don't think it's gonna like become. I just don't know if it's like 2 courts worth of power, if that makes sense.
I don't think Reese's. I don't think he's the High Lord of the Dusk Court.
And I don't think that there is a Dusk court is kind of what because you know it wasn't like delineated before when like the courts were delineated.
Right.
Dusk never existed, which is why they were like, we don't know. Some say
that's the question. Is it like, is Bryce, you know, like with the crossover, is Bryce like the High Lady of the Dusk Court? Is it going to come back?
That would be so cool.
Oh,
I love Bryce. Reese is because the Night Court consumed the Dusk Court through the marriage. Oh yeah, probably. I was just saying that like the court delineation is not there, but yeah, the magic of the land is still pertinent. Just specifically, like I don't know if the court, because the magic of the land has to be delineated by the courts, at least now. Like
yeah, what the land chooses.
But there was never a Dusk court. Like there was her island, which was Dusky, which was Dusk, but it just was never a court. So I'm just wondering how that transfer of magic worked. But I agree with what you're saying. Alice says version is good, but what about 3 Nights of Torture? Oh, she's checking it out. Like what Reese put. Oh, okay. So that's we can. Oh, Alice, if you come back when we're later, bring this back up because I want to talk about that. But we will get so off topic.
Can I just read to you this? So I just looked up the Scarlet Flower. Let me just read the beginning of the synopsis. Like you're just gonna die.
Okay, go ahead.
Once upon a time, there lived a wealthy merchant who had 3 beautiful daughters. Once he decided to do business overseas.
Nice.
He called for the daughters and asked what gifts he should bring them. The eldest asked for a golden tiara adorned with precious gems that sparkled brightly. And the second wanted a crystal mirror, which always showed the person's reflection as younger and beautiful. The merchant knew that these would be difficult to obtain, but within his means. The youngest, named Anastasia, asked for the most beautiful scarlet flower in the world, which she had seen in a dream.
Okay, so that's exactly them.
So, like, yeah, the youngest focuses on beautiful flowers as art that she saw in a dream, where she's seeing things in dream. The middle one asks for a crystal mirror, which kind of gives me like, and she's known as beautiful, so the person's reflection is always young and beautiful. The crystal mirror could also be like her seeing abilities. And then the eldest asked for a golden tiara. And how many times is Nesta called a queen?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's crazy connections. Also, crystal, the crystal reference is Asteri and Daglin. The golden, anything golden is Asteri, Daglin. The gems are Underworld. The gems are also in the Golden Gates in Crescent City. They all connect. That connects to everything. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Okay, I wanna look into that more. That's so fun. Wait, what was that? That's the Scarlet.
This is the scarlet flower. I'll write it down.
Yeah. That's super cool. Oh my gosh, I love that. And okay, wait, I was laughing earlier at Missy because she said watch Resand is from Peleus's line. Which would make sense because I mean him and Ruin look very similar. Okay. I feel like we got okay, wait. I don't know what page I was on.
Okay, so let's see. What else do we have in chapter? I feel like we haven't even gone past chapter 6.
I'm still in chapter 6. Should we stay or should we keep going? Should we move on? Well, I wanted to point out that 9 times, Tamlin tries to convince Feyre to eat food. 9 times. Hades does that exact same thing. Also,
9 times specifically?
Not that's which is interesting because there's 9 realms to hell sometimes. Is that what you were thinking?
Well, I don't know. I
counted 9 times that Tamlin was like, eat. And then he's like, eat, it's not going to hurt you. I promise you, just eat. He gets up and puts it on her plate. Eat. You're going to faint if you don't eat. He even reads her mind and is like, if you're going to ask if the food is fine, it's fine. Eat. And we know that like what we're made to believe later is that it was to help her, which I'm not denying. But the symbolism of the story is that she's now in Prithian. He walks her through the gates to his like lands, which in the story, he walks her through the gates of the underworld and she sees flowers along the way. He offers her the food. He offers her the water from the river, which he says, or which he puts in a golden goblet to give her, and that it makes her forget all of her woes and her worries. And Tamlin is drinking from a golden goblet, and he tries to convince her to eat food 9 times. And then once she eats the food, the very next time she eats the food, she thinks to herself, oh, well, he said it was fine, so it's fine, which is not worrying anymore about things that you're worried about. It's exactly written on the page. It's so funny. And also there's like a misleading on chapter 60, or I'm sorry, on page 69. Oh wait, did I skip a lot? I think I did. Oh, sorry, I skipped way far ahead. That's my fault. We'll come back to that.
That's okay. I was just gonna I was trying to point out like some of the foreshadowing, and we can just quickly go through it and then move to chapter 7 if you want. But on like page 54, Lucian is even talking about like when he's being snarky essentially, and he was like, I'm sure her life will be a fine replacement for Andres. Maybe she can even train with the others at the border. And I'm like, oh, like training at the border, the whole thing she throws a fit about later. Like,
yeah, I wrote that down too. Like, oh, y'all are yeah, exactly. I agree. That's so funny. Yeah, that's so weird. And he says, maybe we should just take a stand. Maybe it's time to say enough. It seems like is there like a sacrifice? Is part of the cycle that they're having to sacrifice to Amarantha? I don't know. That's just kind of like a side thought, but just like the way they word it, and we know that this whole time he's been possibly collecting women to try to break this curse. I just wonder if they've been sacrificing. In chapter 6, I think Feyre thinks that if she drinks wine, she'll be enslaved in mind and soul, which it says, yeah. And it says, and that is part of the key of the underworld, is that when you drink, you belong to them. And she says that multiple times. You're exactly right. Page 46. One chapter, he's drinking from a golden cup, and then when she goes back downstairs, it's crystal. Tamlin's? That's so weird. Again, crystal, gold, that's all Daglin. That's all Hades in the underworld. Version of the Beauty and Beast is called Rose or Golden Rose. Okay, can you write that down?
Yeah.
Because I think that's like another version of the Scarlet Flower, Alice. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get our Beauty and the Beast lore up to date. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Should we pop into the next chapter.
Yeah. Oh, 56, really quick. They put her in the dark blue tunic, and then a couple of pages later, she gets in the purple tunic, which is like, is that Reese's sister? Is that Reese's sister's clothes?
Ooh.
Because I'm sure a lot of people do, but I think that Tamlin and Reese's sister could have been a thing. They have the children's books in his estate library, and I think that it would make a lot of sense if he was like guiding her out or helps her escape, or that's why he feels this connection to her, because it would make sense if his father, who is a powerful political figure, would not want his warring families. It's like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was so interesting.
The pond, the lake or whatever, the star.
Yeah.
I mean,
people say like maybe she portal hopped out of there, but
yeah, which I love that idea.
Did you see the girl's video? The girl who did the video about Lucian, we were talking about her last time. She posted a video that Jasminda could be Reese's sister. She posted a lot of reasons for why, because she's like very in depth. She was like, Reese's sister is Jasminda, which I don't, obviously she's just assuming, but I just thought it was a good video. It was cool. She has really great videos.
I think someone tagged me in it. I think Lizzie tagged me in it. I love when everyone tags me in videos. Like if you don't send them to me, DM them to me.
Yeah, I need to do that. I need to do that. I follow her. She's really cute.
Right in the beginning of chapter 7, I have like highlighted on the second paragraph, it says, "A half wild beast, Nesta had called me." Like, I feel like there's so many references about that, but especially it makes me think of when she's looking in the Ouroboros and sees her beast form. But also the fact that like they keep like referring to Tamlin and all of these other people as beasts, but like Nessa's like, "Girl, you half wild beast." Like,
oh yeah,
I
put that in my caption actually yesterday for my parentified video. Yeah, that's a very interesting connection to maybe her like her prophecy. Oh, which there's something about that. Did I pass it? If I did, I have to tell you. I think I didn't pass it yet. So on 58, there's also Tamlin mind reading. So he reads her mind, basically at the beginning, or I'm sorry, at the end of chapter 5, and then at the beginning of this chapter 7, he's reading her mind, or at least that's how it seems. And you could call it like the mate mind speak, but usually that's like an italicized, and it's like she says it italicized in her mind, and then he answers back. But she's starving, her head's getting light, and he's like, "Before you ask again, the food is safe for you." And then in chapter 5, when she's going to ask him what his name is again, he growls out of annoyance, and she's like, "Saul, just shut up." And that's when he binds her with magic, which he's able to put her to sleep for 2 days. He just has that ability.
Right.
He can control. That's a mind ability. To just knock someone out. That's crazy. So he has somewhat kind of ability to read her mind. He has invisible hands. I mean, he has a lot more. These are not wind powers and shape-shifting powers. This is different. And somebody else.
Raw magic. Yes, Missy. It's giving Dorian. Like.
Yes. And was it? I can't remember who it was just talking about. It was either. Let me just say what it was. But they were talking about how like maybe the Princes of Hell absorbed the magic from the Daglin, because obviously whatever the land magic, the same with the Dust Court, she put her magic into the land, she fed the land and the land fed from hers, or the land fed her. So I wonder, I think it was Bex, we were DMing about it. I think he has earth and fire too. When does he show fire? I want to know just for my notes. Thank you.
I just highlighted as like another part of like lore on page 60 when he's like serving her, and she's like, "I can serve myself," and he said, "It's an honor for a human to be served by a high fae."
I wonder why. Do you have a thought?
I feel like I lost my train of thought, but like it was reminding me of something. I mean, I feel like it definitely goes back to like the Persephone and Hades thing of like trying to like,
It's an
but
honor.
yeah, but it also seems like he's trying to say here like your value. You know what I mean? Like you're not just because she's constantly in her head being like, I'm just insignificant. I'm this lowly human to them. I'm so insignificant. And here it is, Tamlin basically answering what she's been saying in her head is like, it's an honor to be served by High Fae. Like I'm honoring you as an equal
Oh
almost.
yeah. He's trying to be he's trying to be he's trying his best. Just like he says, and your hair is clean.
Clean.
Oh my gosh. Where did you get your compliments from? Um okay, hold on. Let's see. So Farrah's still burying we're on 62. Farrah's still burying her anger. I feel like I need to make a whole video just on every time Farrah has buried her anger and what the hell does that mean? Why are you so she suppresses? And then so let's see, a couple of paragraphs. It's like right in the middle where it says Tamlin's jaw tightened. Your family's alive and well and cared for. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. You think I take their only source of income and nourishment and not replace it again? This is underworld language. Anything that you take out of the underworld has to be replaced. I want to go back and look at the fire stuff. I'm not ignoring that. I just
Yeah.
but and then it's down a little bit further. It says, some would say you should be grateful for me finding you before another one of my kind came to claim the debt. Who? Who? If this is like Tamlin's task, who? Whom?
Yeah. No, I have that highlighted too because it made me think of like there's so many times throughout this that Tamlin basically just says you're lucky it's me and not someone else, or like even later when she is turned Fae and he's like trying to protect her like no, we can't train you or show you because someone will take you and harm you. Like this seems like a foreshadowing to that as well, like you're lucky it's me and I gave you a comfortable place to live. Like you could be someone's slave, you could be someone's, there are people out there who aren't really abiding by the treaty and they don't care because you're a human on this side of the wall. Nobody knows what else is going on over here. We're more powerful than you.
Yeah. I hated Frost and Starlight, so maybe that's why. Same. I don't remember anything from Frost and Starlight except for Moore's cabin in the woods. And Bryaxis peeking in from the background.
I don't remember much there. I love watching Books and Blunders videos on that whole little novella because I love that she hates it so much. Like she's so mad about it. She goes on so many rants.
That's so funny.
I love it.
She's mad about that book, like that.
Yeah, she's like it
so
pisses her off so much just about like the stuff that happens in it, and she has like really good like points that she makes, but it cracks me up because by the time I got there in Silver Flames, I was like so far in the Feyre blinders that I was like not paying attention as well. So I'm super excited to get to those in our reread, even though
that's the one where you have to like pull yourself out for the first time, so it's really hard.
Yeah.
So on 63, in the middle where it says, I opened my mouth, but his snarl rattled the glass. Is that not a fair bargain? And she doesn't directly agree. She doesn't say verbally, I agree. I don't even think she shakes her head. But he says 2 paragraphs up, it's the second paragraph from the top. The last sentence says, but if you cross the wall, if you flee, your family will no longer be cared for. And then the next thing he says is that not a fair bargain? So I wonder, was her, because food is like a very specific thing in Prithian, I wonder, was her eating the food and accepting of the bargain maybe in the spring court? That doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but it's interesting that he sort of sets up this bargain, like if you flee, your family will no longer be cared for, and he does take her back. So does that null and void this little mini bargain? I just think it's whenever you see, is that not a fair bargain? Like you're not supposed to make any bargains, so why even use that word?
Yeah, I have that highlighted too as like a foreshadowing.
I wasn't going to get up from. One glance in Tamlin's eyes told me I wasn't getting up from. I skimmed, but one glance in his eyes told me I wasn't going to get up from this table until I'd eaten something. That was the 9th time that happened. So finally, she took a bite, and then after she's like, "He said it was fine. Never worries again."
Yeah, and is that her accepting the bargain? Because that's the one thing. Like, it's never really been explained in the SJM lore on how you accept a bargain. Is it a verbal accept? Like, we know in the Night Court you get the tattoo, but we don't know about bargains in any of the other courts. Like, do you have to verbally agree to it, or is it just like a, you know?
Like, do you have to say specifically that you don't agree?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's very interesting. And then, so, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just going. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, no. I was.
She said, it's just packed with lore. Well, you've inspired me. I'm going to go back and reread. Well, we'll get to it in our reading.
Yeah.
But that I'm excited then, because I probably did, like the whole first 18 and 19 chapters of this book, I don't even remember a lot of the details because you're like struggling to get through it.
Right.
So I'm excited to see what lore I missed. Also, Missy says, I thought that's just him saying a bargain like they do in TOG. What do they do? Do they have like you just mean like a regular like deal? You agree? I agree, but not with the weight behind it. Maybe that's what.
Right, but why would we specifically use the word bargain? Because we know bargain has like
specifically, and Alice says, who knows his movings about. Alice is the one later who says, "Don't make any bargains." So the specific word, I don't know. I think it's a good question either way. It's kind of when Reese eats the soup in Akamouth. That's kind of what I was thinking. I wonder if there's an exchange of food. Because again, the world is heavy into eating and drinking. So eating and drinking has a lot to do with accepting the mating bond, accepting a bargain.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. We could assume.
Yeah.
65, top of the page, where we're all squiggly wiggly words.
I love how we literally have everything the same highlight.
I think that this is just another, again, this is her. Wait, let me take my sticker off. This is her thought in her mind, okay? Before that treaty ripped me away, before it became clear that you were allowed to do as you please, but we can hardly strike back against you. And I wrote facts, because this is still Tamlin manipulating the system of Prithian, that's just always been this way. This is still a manipulation of the system to a lesser power. That is what this is. And again, I'm not hating him, but I think that a lot of times we don't acknowledge when somebody who we like does the same thing as somebody that we don't like. And this is the same thing. Regardless of if his goal is to break the treaty, it's for his best interest and everyone in Prithians to break the treaty. We don't know what the treaty holds, what weight it holds on the mortal lands. It could actually affect the mortals, and maybe for their best interest, the treaty needs to be broken, but it's not of her own free will, which is still a problem. It's a problem when it happens to Nesta. It's a problem when it happens to any mortal from the mortal land. If they're taken to be used by a fae who is more powerful and controlling, that is still the system. I'm not talking at anyone. I'm just talking with passion because I feel some type of way.
Yeah.
The system. I don't like the man,
Yeah. But I do also like within the same breath, right underneath it, we're seeing some vulnerability, but also some worry from Tamlin. Because obviously he's trying, like you said, this is selfish for him. He's trying to break this curse for he and his people, but he's like, are you in love with this man? What if she would have said yes? What would he have done?
He was nervous. He was like, do I have extra work to do? He was worried.
But would he have tried to make her forget about him, or what would he do? You know what I mean? What would that have meant? Because it says Tamlin and Lucian exchange glances. They're like, oh shit.
Maybe it's because wasn't the bargain that she had to make someone who hated fairies fall in love with him? And so that's a good question, but Because I was just taking it like, is he asking to sort of get a bearing on how much work he has to do to make this girl fall in love with him? And it's the last year. Someone else made a good point. Who was it? I'm sure you saw where it was like, it's not a 50-year thing, it's 49.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because 7 by 7 is all over everything, but especially Crescent City.
Yeah, actually,
Never
and
mind,
it's
I'm stupid.
funny that you like bring up the why am I keep losing track of my mind. But Antoinette actually just made a video about the bargain. Like, did Feyre or Tamlin actually even end it? Because, and it's referenced later, I didn't save it in here, but she points out in her video that when Alice, when she can finally explain the bargain to Feyre, like when Feyre's going back to try to save them, Alice says that the curse was that Tamlin had to get a human who hated Faye to marry him.
I didn't remember that at all.
Me neither. So then whenever she's pointing that out, I'm like, oh shit.
Because
so,
it's described differently again. Like, does someone else describe it and say,
I know.
you have to be in love? Because I thought it was they had to fall in love with you.
Me too. So that's, yeah, I definitely want to pay attention to like when we get to.
Does anyone know the pages? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? And I'm sure that Antoinette might have mentioned Alice's portion, but does anyone know if it's mentioned again later? I thought it was mentioned by someone else where it was like, you had to get maybe it was Amarantha saying that someone had to fall in love with you. Because I think that was her point, was that it was like two different accounts of the curse. But Amarantha does say, like, yeah, basically, like, you broke it, but I didn't say when. I didn't say specifically when, and you'll probably be long dead by the time they're released. So
well, that wasn't the curse. That was her winning the trials. That wasn't the curse. That was Feyre winning the trials. She was like, you won, and in like the bargain that she made with Amarantha is like, I win the trials and you release them. It wasn't the curse. So technically,
she was saying release them from the curse.
Was it?
That's
or
what
was
I.
it
That's
just
what
from
I
under
thought.
the mountain?
I don't exactly know. That's the impression I was under. I reread it recently, but not well enough to say that I know for sure. But that's the impression I was under, because the agreement from my perspective was you do these trials and the curse will be broken. I will release them from the curse. And then the riddle was, I will release them from the curse immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. If someone can double check for us. Wait, we have some comments too. Sorry, I think we're.
Yeah, so Nina says, I think Alice says, willing to marry him and say I love you. I remember the say I love you part, because it was like made a big deal that she thought it, but he never said it. And so.
Willing to marry him and say I love you.
Okay.
Are you Kindle searching? Because we need.
Yeah, I'm trying to search.
Someone specifically says to say I love you. Is it like Little Mermaid style? Is that what we're all sort of thinking? Like she had to make him fall in. I was not the same way, but like maybe like making him fall in love with you, or having like the universe's recognition of true love versus like, I really love this person. Because you can love someone who's not your true love, was kind of what I was thinking on her post. But because she was asking how that delineates like who's her actual mate, and I just don't necessarily think that you have to love your mate, which she kind of was talking about.
Right.
Like she had to speak the words before 49 years were up. Ooh. And it's so weird they keep saying 50 years, but it's 49. It's so weird.
Okay, I got those like 5-in-1 of ACOTAR, and honestly, it's kind of annoying because sometimes I'm like looking at my notes and I'm like, that's not the book that I want to be in, you know?
Willing to marry, ice in her heart, hate Faye, willing to kill Faye, had to say to his face that she loved him with her whole heart, look beyond his mask. Thank you, Missy. Which is funny because it doesn't Amarantha the whole time try to say just admit you don't love him. But like, isn't that the curse to admit
Right.
that she does? Like, she's crazy. Yeah, good job, Missy. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Nina. I don't know if I said hi to you. Yeah, we need to, oh, yeah, we need to look into that.
I know. There's just, and it's like the wording with everything is so important, and it's so much to keep track of. It's, well,
Okay, this is so funny to me on 67. It's the paragraph where it starts with I'm sorry. Actually, no, right underneath of it. So she puts like the little trap and Alice falls. And she stands up and Alice is like, what in the bottomless depths of the cauldron? And what she's saying is, what the hell? So the bottomless depths of the cauldron is hell, which is funny, obviously, because the symbolism is there, but also in the bog. But she's like replacing what the hell with the bottomless depths of the cauldron, which is what we've all been saying. But it's just funny to see it written out. Like,
I love it.
We said it.
I know. I also, on the very next page, I had highlighted, like, the very, very bottom of page 68, when she's, like, asking questions to Alice, and Alice is just like, she's like, what phase should I be worried for? And Alice is like, all of them. And Feyre goes, another useless answer, which to me just, again, shows, like, okay, this is a 19-year-old uneducated girl. Like, she's not even, like, thinking to, like, she's just surface level. She's just like, okay, well, that was useless. Instead of being like, okay, well, how can I dig deeper? How can I think deeper about it? She's just like, no. Like,
she shuts down that useless part of her brain that thinks?
Yeah.
The part that has thought. Shut that shit down, Farrah. Me too, hot mess obsessed. I love fantasy curse words. They are so funny. Absolutely crack me up. Alice said you could have freed him. I love you, and his power would have been free. Oh, they're so annoying. I don't like loopholes. Number 4 fan in the fan club. What's your fan club called?
I have a
Do you have a name? I think she just got number 1. She just fan clubbed you, I think. I don't really know how it works, but it's like, right? Hot mess obsessed. Is it? It says number 4 in the fan club, but I don't really know how it works. I made my fan club the Memos. It's me.
How do you do that? Oh, thank you. I didn't even know that was a thing.
You go to, I think it's your live settings. You go to your TikTok studio, and then at the top you click live, and then you click settings. Or no, you go down to where it's like different tools in live, and you click fan club.
Also, I love your name, Hot Mess Obsessed.
I know. Facts. Okay. So page 69, that's where it mentions the purple tunic, which I also was wondering if that's Reese's sisters, because why else does she have a purple tunic that fits her there?
And they're not Springport colors.
And then, let's see. Okay, so down where it says, Alice finished she's braiding her hair, my plait. And it says, the next sentence, I would have lived up to my namesake were it not for the effects of poverty, but I'd never particularly cared. Beauty didn't mean anything in the forest. And I think that this is misleading. I think that it's misleading because the name Feyre, the whole name Feyre means fair, beautiful, whatever. And so she's saying, obviously, if I wouldn't have been starving and like having to survive, I could have lived up to my namesake. I could have been beautiful. But I think it's misleading because it makes people think, oh, her name means fair and beautiful. But Dasha and I were talking about, I made a video, her name means Fae again, reborn Fae. If you break down the prefix and the suffix, Fae just means Fae, and re is again, do-over. So I feel like it's trying to mislead us that her name means beautiful, but what it really means is a cycle of being born again, which is the cycle of Persephone, which is what happens to Feyre. So I think that's so cool. Okay, you have such cool little, like, parallel stories. I need to link up with you, Alice, because are you writing these down, Megan?
Yes, I'll write it down.
I don't have my journal, my office supply. Actually, I do, but, oh, by the way, you guys, I brought these to show you. I already showed the other ones, but this is the ACOTAR. Oh, wait, no. This is the ACOTAR. I showed these last time. The paint swatch. I linked this in my other video, but here's the Throne of Glass. Tell me it's not so cute. And it has the right reading order. Don't argue with me.
Which way? Assassin's Blade first. Yes.
I will not take arguments. Sorry. These are so cute. I linked one of them in my last video, but I'm gonna link them because they go out of stock really quick. So if you care about that, they're really cheap. They're like $3 a piece. They're so cute. But yeah, so
got that written down.
ooh, lit in folklore major. I am not. I mean, I do not have a major, but I love deep diving it. So if you have any that you want to send me and I can deep dive them, I would love to. What if it isn't Reese's sister's tunic? It was just another Archeron, and they. The cycle, Missy. Sorry, that just took me into so wait, you're saying like that it's left over from the last time from her mother. Okay, after ACOTAR, I have TOG, and I have been told Assassin's Fourth. You have been told wrong.
Yeah, absolutely not Fourth.
I have a video about this where people were fighting in the comments, but I personally. I could go on a big spiel about it. It was written
if you're
reading order. Reading order. It's not reading order because she wrote it freaking first. She wrote the 4 of the 5 novellas of Assassin's Blade first. Anyway, that's my personal recommendation. I just don't like when people are like, it's more impactful. You don't know that because you haven't read it both ways first. You do not have. I'm not upset at anyone in here, but I stand firmly on that hill. I don't like when people say, oh, and we can agree to disagree. That's fine. But I just don't like when people's reason is like, it's more this. Neither of them are more anything because I don't have a comparison because I've only read one first. But what if in another version, Mama Archeron had to deal with Restand?
See, and that's where I'm getting at. I think that there's some kind of deal that Mama Archeron had with the Fae, and I think Restand was involved. That's what I think. He's had his hand in this the whole time. There's something there.
Which could it go back to the human line because Nesta is there when Bryce opens the gates. They both put their hand on the door and it opens at the same time. It definitely is reacting to Bryce, but I wonder if there is the connection between Ember's line and Mama Archeron's line. And if so, Mama Archeron could be of Celine's line, which is funny because Hades is Persephone's uncle. So if Rhysand and the Archerons are related somewhere down the line, distantly, even in Rowan Aelin fashion, it still aligns with the story. So if they come from the same lineage, they could have like a dated bargain going back to their ancestors, which is to the point.
And we know it's not uncommon. I mean, Aelin and Rowan, they're technically related. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, what is?
Yeah, I wasn't. By the way, I love you, Dasha. I wasn't arguing with you.
Oh, that would be icky if Mama Archeron got pregnant with Rhysand.
Okay. It doesn't totally go against like mythology, though. I mean, that's gross. It's real gross. With that, I'm sure Ember is absolutely. She has to be.
Like what Di just said. What if the word marks on their door weren't for protection? What if they were for selection?
Like a way to find her, but in the same way that town wasn't attacked, was it a protection? Like, this is my food. This is my. High Fae like to play with their food, their sustenance. Maybe if we're equating them to Daglin, is that the reason? I wanted to go back to Dasha really quick. Bryce, we're gonna headcanon and make this canon. Bryce is of Celine's line. Celine is talking to Bryce and says, "Heir of my heir, child of my child." She's not talking about Helena's line. She's talking about her line. So I agree with you, Dasha. I agree. I think that Bryce, without a question, is of Celine's line. Therefore, Ember has to be. What if the deal between Rhysand's sister and Mama Archeron? Give me your rundown of that, Alice. I would love to hear more.
Okay, Missy, going off of yours with Nesta being different than the other sisters. Here's where I find that Nesta and Feyre are similar. Like, they look the same. They have the same hair color, eye color, whatever, right? Don't they have the same eye color? I thought it was a
They have the same nose.
I thought Elaine had different looks than those girls.
Elaine
But
has her
she,
father's eyes, and Nesta has her mother's features. She doesn't have anything described as her father's. And then Feyre has her father's mouth and her mother's nose. But beyond
yeah,
that, I don't know. There's probably other stuff.
I know. I need to look it up because I felt there was something that one time gave me vibes that, like, I think there's something sinister going on with Elaine. And she is kind of giving me Maeve vibes. You know how Maeve literally talks about how she infiltrated the two sisters and made herself to believe to be the third sister and made everyone believe she was, and then she took, like, why is Elaine so valued over the other two? Like, her father loves her most. Like, everyone wants to protect Elaine, but, like, she's kind of useless. Like, not, you know what I mean? Like, girls
She's
just
like
plant
a
flowers. Like, you can't grow a garden instead of flowers. Like,
that's
you're
weird.
not pulling your
Yeah.
weight here. But,
Yeah.
like,
It seems like she's just added for, at least the way we're meant to read her in this is that she doesn't provide any, that's what it's been made to read as, is that she doesn't really provide a lot. She's protected by the one sister. She, like, her input is like, yeah, he's gonna marry her. Like, she seems like she's written very, like, not totally focused on, like, not really seeing what needs to be, and that's what Feyre says about her too. Doesn't make it to be true, but Feyre also has the opinion where she's like, it's not like Elaine is mean, she just doesn't really know that
yeah,
stuff can be done. And I think that part of that is true, that it, everyone needs to be chipping in, but we don't exactly know, obviously.
right. I think that's what she has them believe, or, like, that's what they believe, but it's like, Elaine, you see them pulling their weight. Like, you know how, like, you're not that oblivious. You've been in poverty for the last 8 years. You're still just oblivious to the fact that you can help. You know, like, come
Yeah,
on,
and she does a
sis.
lot of whining. I personally don't. And it's probably because I'm like really into what's going to happen next in CC4, but I personally don't care what happens with Elaine and ACOTAR 6. I think it's just because I'm not into it, so I probably will care more once I get to Silver Flames in the reread. But I just feel like because I'm so into Bryce and Azriel, like it's like I don't really care for that dynamic. I think that this is just my personal
Yeah,
thing. I just am not like pulled into Elaine so much.
me neither. I
Yeah,
think the
just
only
like
thing that
guys.
would interest me in her is if she is evil.
Yeah, if she has some, and she has weird connection to Crochet, and I think we missed something. Sorry. I said particular humans for this whole. Are you talking about the threshold? Is like how they find the humans, which is really interesting because her mom died when she was 8, and they moved to the cottage when she was 11. So once they moved to the cottage, they haven't been attacked since then. Someone put the stuff on the door. Is it a protective? Is it like a locator spell? Like you said, that's so crazy. And
And
her
they said that
persona.
it was like someone who claimed to be born of high fae, like high fae
Yeah,
lineage.
yeah,
So,
I know. I'm like, and high fae. Also, oh, we got to keep going because there's more things that remind me of something I want to talk about. I think Elaine has a different dad. I think that could be. I think that could be true too. I can't separate my brain from thinking that Mama Archeron is Asterin, but that's just my. I just want that to be true because I think it's fun. Flowers and Underworld. She's a flower child. Are you talking about Elaine? I think so. I think she's the foil for the sisters. I'm thinking math problem when you say foil. What do you mean? You remember foiling in math? That's all I can think about. Um,
Missy, oh my god. What if Elaine poisoned the mom? Foxglove and Nightshade can make typhus symptoms.
I wish I could walk around.
Bro, what? I
Stop
literally
it.
had just highlighted and Googled typhus because I was like, what else could that be? Because I was thinking like a broken bargain. Like she unfulfilled bargain, and that those were like the symptoms it was giving her. But okay.
That's
Googling.
so crazy. Oh my gosh,
That's
that's so crazy. And then what's even crazier is that when Tamlin says, like, she's like, I'm not going to basically talk about what happened to my mom. And then he immediately is like, "What happened to your mom? When did she die? What did she die of?" And he's like, I noticed there were no women things around there." And she says that she died of typhus. And his like mouth tightens, and then he just shakes his head, and he's like, "Oh, Feyre, I'm sorry." And it's like because right before that he's like, "Oh, your mom." Everyone knows, but it's like your mom didn't say anything. He definitely is into the fact that he knows her, and he was saddened by her death. Did you feel that? Like, did you feel like there was like a sad?
Yeah.
It's like, it reminds me of Peter Pan. Like, it reminds me of if Peter Pan came back and realized that Wendy died, and it was like their next child, their child.
Yeah.
Like, he'd almost be like, that hits my heart.
I think he knew Mama Archeron, and I don't think in like a nefarious way, because he's also like, your mom never told you about it, like,
yeah, shocked by it.
We were friends, no, but like,
I know.
Okay, so that just feeds into my feeling that Elaine is like nefarious some way. So she's planting flowers. She's planting deadly freaking flowers. Okay, here, it says right here. Foxglove and nightshade are both highly toxic plants. Combining them... Oh, shoot.
What happened?
Sorry, I had to do the little puzzle thing. Okay. Combining them creates an extremely potent and dangerous mixture of poisons with different psychological effects, posing severe health risks. Most commonly encountered in popular culture, such as in literature, tattoos, and poison gardens. Okay, I need more.
Okay, keep doing that. Yeah, Missy, you blew all of our minds.
Foxglove and other poisons.
Also, Grandma died suspiciously soon after Mama Archeron. She did? I do not remember that. Can you give me more information, Alice, please? I feel like I remember. I don't remember, but I feel like I remember something about that. Dasha said Reese can hold her beer. So funny.
Bye, Britt.
Bye, Britt. Thank you for coming. She's there to show other sisters have redeeming qualities. They're so funny. Also, Elasma. Elaine smells like jasmine, and it's the night flower. Grandma died before Mama A. We need Grandma Archeron lore. Also, Krakens are the seer witches that took humans. They already have their powers. Oh, that look human. Also, the Blue Bloods are the seer witches. So I wonder, isn't Elaine equated to the Blue Bloods? Grandma A's info was in Silver Flames, Di says.
Okay, so not until later. Okay, yes, Elaine keeping her iron ring. That's why I think she's going to be like, I think she's still got connections to her old, like, in-laws. Even though she's technically Fae, she, like, hated the Fae. Like,
yeah.
And we keep hearing this rumor from SJM that someone shocking is going to betray them. I think it'd be pretty shocking if...
And she was ready to still betray them when she was still trying to marry... What's his name? She was like, please! She was trying to hide her ears.
Yeah.
They made her grounded like the Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods being grounded to the world. And all of them because of their iron. Yeah, she's more Blue Blood, but the Krakens have interesting traits. So, yeah. I love all the witches. The witch stuff. I wanted to tell you. There's more, I'm sure.
I know. Okay. Oh my gosh. Are we still only in chapter 7?
I think I'm in 8 now.
Are we?
I'm passing where she sees the foxglove in the spring court. Oh, okay. Page 77. Also, the sisters are Kraken if UY return Fae in the drop. Because are you saying Kraken are humanoid? Or not, I guess they're all humanoid. Fae are humanoid still, but are you saying, well, no, Fae are not. If their shapeshifter forms are not humanoid, but if they look like a human, even without the ears, they're still humanoid. Are you saying Krakens are rounded ears, not pointed ears, similar to Illyrians? Is that what you're saying? Also, sisters are Kraken. Oh, wait, I already read that. Original co-shape from Slavic Mystery and Reese are very similar. Dasha, this is your zone, girl. This is your place. Bring the lore for us, girly. I love you and Alice are getting some good lore mythology here in the chat.
I know.
I think they have round ears. Ooh. Very interesting. Okay. We need to come back to that. All right. Page 77. You don't have pointed ears. I didn't even notice that. Which really connects to Dai's whole thing about the Illyrians possibly being the male witches. Okay, so 77, the sentence starts, but the shining things had vanished. And this is just funsies, but it says, along with their sniffing and giggling, and I found myself facing a weathered statue of two merry bounding lambs. Two lambs in mythology represent a couple of things, but one of them is prophetic fulfillment. I don't even need to say anything else about that. Prophecies are prophesizing according to the lambs. So it's not.
Yeah, again, also it reminds me of like lamb for slaughter.
Ooh.
Like sacrifice.
And if they're merry and bounding, that's also kind of symbolizing the like two dancing fae that we see a lot in the carving imagery. It's like new beginnings, youth, maidenhood. Let's see. Because the iron teeth disguise themselves as kraken. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Koshte has hidden kingdom that was secret, like Valaris. Yes. Oh, in the mythology. Ooh. Where's Reese's death duck? Is that in the mythology? Is that in the lore? Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny.
I have the same area like highlighted because I know it's and here's like another, maybe I'm reading too far into it, but like SJM likes to hide things behind the things, right? So she hears these like little sounds and little fae that are basically glamored from her that she can't see that are like playing around her. But at the very end of that like paragraph before the switch, it says, even as I strode through the hedges, carefully retracting my steps back to the house, I couldn't ease the creeping feeling that someone still watched me, curious and wanting to play. I know like the wanting to play is supposed to seem like these two little playful little fae are playing around me, but just a few chapters back, it says that the fae like to play
with their
food, with their playthings. And so to me, that's giving Resand or just something else nefarious, but someone wants to play with her like cat and mouse.
Yeah, and could it be that all of the courts are battling it out for this cycle, this cycle person? Because I think a lot of it is imagery about Resand, but a lot of the stuff that's happening in the Spring Court is Tamlin having the same markers that we're linking to Resand. So I think that it's almost begging the question, not does it relieve one or the other, but are they all sort of in this race? Like they said, is someone else going to come claim you for this debt? Is it something like it's who can get to them first? And not necessarily even, just like Vespera said, I mean, obviously there is like a ruling party, which is not a good thing, but to a degree it's sustenance. It's like, I have to eat you to live. Like this is what I have to do to live. It doesn't make it okay. But so I wonder if, without removing bad intentions, is this just what they need? Some sort of system in Prithian that they need this cycle or this. Oh, Feyre says, if you saw my video where she was granted gifts, not immortality. She was granted magic. She says in Akamath, I was granted gifts. She was specifically granted the gifts from all the High Lords. It just was doubled down that she wasn't granted immortality. She was granted power, which I think is just foreshadowing that someone wants her for her hidden power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something going on with her bloodline, with her family line. They're not new to the mystical side of the world.
Agreed. Missy said she can see some glamours. Yeah, out of the corner of her eye. I agree. Not as good as Nesta, but still, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So this is what I wanted to bring up on 79, kind of like midway and at the bottom. So she's basically talking about keeping her promise to her mother,
I
right? Like,
have the same part highlighted. Keep
yeah,
going.
like I've got to keep this promise, and then Tamlin's basically like, you are keeping your promise because I'm fulfilling that end for you. And then later he says, didn't your mother tell you anything about us? So it's like he knows something going on. And then later when she's like talking about I can't remember what chapter it is, but they bring up again, like she's just like, I got to fulfill my promise to my mom. I have to fulfill it, which makes me think it's a bargain. Like this is Farrah's first bargain that she's ever made. Like she's like obsessed with fulfilling this, right?
Yeah.
And then when she finally gives in to Tamlin being like, I have provided for them. They are fed, they are well, they are fine. Like if you stay here, they are going to be fine. You fulfilled your end of the bargain. And then she goes on to say like she felt empty afterwards. Like basically like, well, what is my life
Whoa,
meaning now? Like what?
that's crazy. Was it connected to her and filling a space that whole time?
Yeah, like that was her giving her the like, because she even said like late to Lucian, she's like, I didn't like to hunt. Like when Tamlin's like, oh, she likes to hunt. She's like, I didn't like to hunt. That was a necessity. But like
Yeah.
we didn't see Nesta or Elaine feeling that need that they had to do it, but she was like, I have this promise for my mom. I have to keep my family together. I have to keep them, alive and well. And so she's like, I have to hunt. I have to do this. I have to do that. And it's like now that her purpose is gone, she's like, what do I do now?
Yeah. And to your point, when she's saying, before he says, didn't your mother tell you anything about us? She's asking him, so is this like, she's saying, so what do you do with your lives? And for him
Yeah.
to answer that with, like, Lucian's like, we dance under the full moon, like he's trying to be scary. But Tamlin's answer to the question, what do you do with your lives? It's not, what should I be afraid of? He's not saying, like, didn't your mom ever tell us lore about fairies? He's saying, didn't your mom ever tell you about Prithian and what we do here? Because the question is, what do y'all do with your lives? And he expects that her mother knows the answer to that.
And why would she?
Why would she? Why would she know? Except for, didn't you hear myths about us? Didn't you hear lore about us? It's, didn't your mother tell you about us? Answering the question, what do you do with yourself every day?
Specifically,
Like
your mother.
that's a very intimate answer. That's an intimate answer.
Right. Well, because he knows that her mother's dead. So why wouldn't he just be like, oh, why didn't your father tell you about us? It's specifically her mom.
Exactly. Didn't your parents tell you about us?
Yeah,
It
like,
could have
no.
been as a warning versus like, this is someone who we know knows about us. Why didn't they inform you?
Right. Yeah.
I agree. Dasha says, have we ever seen Reese and Koshe in the same room? That's so funny. Are they the same person?
This is previous. I said what I said.
That's funny.
Were we just talking about that, Missy, in DMs? Hi, Amber.
Prince Ivan. I love the story of Koshe and Prince Ivan was revived. Yep. Hi, Amber. My little chat is delayed. So chapter 9. Wait. Chapter 9. Is that where we are?
Mm.
So just that first line, 81, or the first page, is where it says, how had he crept up so silently on the gravel? Toward the end of that little mini paragraph, it says, you said I was safe here, so I listened. And that's just kind of, for me, her falling into the believing them after she's now eaten, and she doesn't question them anymore. And for someone who asks herself questions all the time, now she's just like, I'm not worried about it anymore. No problem.
Yeah.
There's I wanted to ask, why is Tamlin's mask not an animal? Everyone else's mask is an animal, and they all wore it. They all wore their masks, obviously, to honor Tamlin's shape-shifting abilities. But why is this? May be stupid, but for me, I'm wondering, why is Tamlin's mask decorated with whirls and swirls and leaves? I wonder why leaves, because when I think leaves, I think fall. I think autumn. When I think spring, I think flowers. You would just think that there would be vines.
Right.
like a different kind of thing. And I just wonder if the design of the mask is something that we're going to get more information on, because again, these masks are mimicking. It's like Amarantha is mimicking the masks of the Daglin. She also wears the golden crown. She is like emulating the past. I don't know. It
Right.
just seems like she's
Yeah.
trying to put herself in that same position.
I guess I never thought about it because I was thinking that all of their masks like emulate who they are. Like the servants are birds because they're, fluttering around. The like Lucian is a fox because he's sly, he's sneaky, he's smart, he's cunning. The stable boys are horses.
Horses.
But
They will
yeah, I
fit in
assumed
there.
that his was just like a representation of spring as a whole because he's the High Lord of the
I just
Spring
feel like
Court.
leaves are really weird.
Yeah, that's a weird
That's a
description.
weird
Like, why
one.
wouldn't she say like you said, like vines or
Vines.
green? Yeah, like
It's
that
just
is
weird. It's
odd.
just a weird little pick. Um, and then when Lucian is escorting Feyre through the woods, top of 85, we pass beneath a flowering lilac, its purple cones drooping low enough to graze my cheek like cool velvety fingers. That's more Persephone. Purple flowers. She loved violets. Which again is like, is that why Rhysand's eyes are purple? Did he make his eyes purple to lure in the girl who loves violets? Violet eyes, violet snow-capped mountains, a lot of purple imagery. And not only does she like colors, but violets are her favorite. Purple is her favorite. It is me. I am Persephone. I love purple.
Same. Oh yeah,
Um,
that's my favorite color.
Me too. Let me just see all the purpley. I'm a purple girl. I love it.
I have at the top of page 87, like specifically going to like the curse. It says Lucian let out a harsh laugh. Something was sent from the shitholes of hell, he said, then glanced around and swore, I shouldn't have said that. If word got back to her. And he like, so it makes me think like, what can and can't they say? Because he clearly like slips up there and he like says her. And
No,
so
and
it's
how
like,
does they get back to her?
it's like, did he do that on purpose? Is because we know later on that they are trying to like
Give her hints.
give her hints, and
Yeah.
Lucian is smart and slick and sly. So I
He's so funny
mean,
because was it earlier when he was like being a jerk, a dick to her, and Tamlin's like, Lucian, and he's like, your eyes are like stars and your hair is a burnished gold. I'm like, he's so funny. Give me Lucian, wrap him up in a bow.
I
I'll
love
take
him.
him.
He's one of my favorites ever. Like,
Yeah, and that line that you were talking about, I also highlighted and I wrote Amarantha because obviously he's talking about Amarantha. I didn't write question mark. I wrote Amarantha equals Tartarus because I think that the Valg are just from a portion of the underworld, which is Tartarus, which is where the wicked go. And she obviously has a lot of imagery associated with Valg descriptions.
yes.
And so something from the shitholes of hell. Did she come through the hellscape when Aelin opened the portal into the gods realm, which I think is Prithian? Is that where the darkness comes from? So I have a video in my drafts I want to post about it, but I don't know. What do you think?
I know. Part of me goes back to this thing where I'm like, are we reading the origin story? Are these, because they keep talking about how like nameless gods or gods that don't exist anymore, and it's like, I know we've talked about a cycle, but it's like, are you guys becoming the gods? Are you going to be the three-faced goddess? Are you like, is Feyre the mother? Like they talk about the mother all the time. And I know it's like this weird cycle. Does she have a life that she does not remember? Was she the mother and she's been reincarnated? Like there's just these like cycles. We keep seeing this theme of cycles throughout all three series. So it's like, is this our origin story of those gods? And everyone stems from this.
That is really true, or that's a really good point.
But then there are things that obviously like disprove that. But it's like, I don't know. Have you ever seen the show Dark on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. First of all, it's so good. But it's like this crazy timeline of past, present, and future and how intertwined they are that they can't exist without the other. And it's so confusing that like that gives me this vibe Yes. Oh, it's like the best show I think I've ever watched.
Is it? I need to watch.
It's so good. It's already there's only 3 seasons. It's done and completed, but it is so good. It's
Is it old?
no, I think it's German, but they have like voiceovers, which like takes a little getting used to, but
Yeah, I don't mind.
it's so good. Yeah, watch it and then let me know what you think because that's what I'm getting here. Like there's things where you're like, okay, well then that possibly couldn't be them because they've done this in the past. But then when I think back to that show, it's like, well, it could actually be them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Interstellar. It's like the same with my Brandon theory. It's like it could be a Mobius strip. It's a cyclical timeline.
Yeah.
Something is happening that makes us think it's the past, but it's happening all over again. Okay, I might have sent you this video, but the story. If you see that, you guys probably haven't seen this because it's so I feel like niche. But there's a video out right now about how Mary Poppins and it are like of the same realm.
Pennywise?
Yes, Pennywise. And so they were talking about their magical powers and how like people see them. And as I was watching it, I was like, this is very, and I think Emily Reed was talking about how she was like a horror reader and how there's a lot of overlap about like monsters and their sustenance and all that stuff. But I was thinking in the story of both of those, one of the things that they compared was that the children, as they get older, they forget Mary Poppins. And Pennywise, the further they get from Derry is the town. The further they get from it, they forget what happened to them. So the further you get, or if you leave the borders of Prithian, do you forget? Does the line forget what happens because they're leaving Prithian? And someone else is there? Brittany, I'm trying to remember. Let's see if she's in here. Yeah, Brittany, were you the one who was talking to me about? I just lost my train of thought. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about. Oh no. We were talking about, maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was someone who tagged us in that video, that other girl, where she was saying that, like, is the wall of Prithian sort of symbolic of the no magic zone in Throne of Glass?
Mm.
And is that why we're seeing beings who maybe have, hidden magic, but they aren't able to access it, similar to how Selena can't access her magic in Throne of Glass because she's within like that triangle of death.
Okay. Ooh.
I don't know. Just adding to the thoughts here. But wait, let me go back up. Let's see.
I know. I feel like the chat was like going nuts earlier. We were all on to something.
Yes. Dasha said she shared a screenshot with me about the ancients, and basically it's Manon. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dasha. And she's just basically talking about how the ancients are all the same. When they mention the ancients, like they're kind of talking about one and the same, and they are sort of being linked in the text to the gods. And so how does that then fall back into like the ancient ones who world walked? I do think sometimes that like the gods and the Asteri, a lot of the times that they're the same, but then they have things that one can do that the other can't. That's how it always is. It sets them apart.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stop seeing parallels or having parallels between Feyre and Amarantha. I would love to know that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those too, and it's hard to pick those out as we go because it's been so long since I've.
And she calls her liar and deceiver, and then she calls it like in her dream. Feyre says it out loud, and she's like, "I can't tell if I'm talking to her or me." So I agree with that too. Nameless is the price. Maybe the gods in Aurelia and Prithian are the same. I think they are. I think that when the gods are sent back to their homeworld, I think they're sent back to Prithian. And when she opens the Hellscape, I think she's opening a portal to hell. And that's maybe where the lore crosses over between all of the beasts. That maybe that's when the Carver and his brothers fall into. It's when the Carver and his brothers fall, or his siblings fall into the world. So,
and when Maeve learns how to world walk, I think Maeve is somehow from Prithian.
I feel like I have a really crazy Maeve theory, and I don't want to go on a tangent about it, but I do think that Maeve is a lot. I think that she is all over the place aspects of her. She's crazy. Uncanny Valley, facts. Set in Crescent City and ACOTAR. The gods you've forgotten the name of. Do they say that in Crescent City too?
Who does Lindsay? Lindsay, who do you think is one of the nameless gods? Do you think Maeve or?
Alice had ChatGPT make a comparison table between Farah and Amarantha. I think she's one of the nameless gods. Sorry, I think I missed something. The Underking goes to CC. Yes. What if Sam put Amy into the ring? That's why it was in the middle and Farah could recognize it. That's a really cool idea, Missy.
I'm gonna need you to make a whole video on that.
Huh?
I said I'm gonna need Missy to make a whole video on that.
Oh yeah, Lindsay, Maeve. I agree with you. I'm compiling my stuff for my. I just need to post it. My Maeve video. It has to do with the gods and just cross world stuff. So I definitely agree with you. I think that Maeve isn't the embodiment of a. I think she's a singular embodiment. That's
Samantha, I like what you just said. What if Feyre turns into Maeve? I've had that thought too. Where like that goes back to me thinking like, is this our origin story? Maeve talks about how she's trying to escape from her horrible husband, which then leads me to think like what Missy said is Rhys Orcus. Like, are they? There's just this whole. I don't know. I know there's so many ways this can go, but
that is a really cool idea because. Persephone is like trapped to her bargain to the underworld to be, and there's different stories where it's like he's not really a bad guy, he's just bored. And there are other stories where she likes her connection to the underworld. But you're right that it could be sort of telling that beginning story of like her wanting to get away from him. But she does say that she marries them for power, and she already had immense power when she was born. So unless we find out later that Feyre actually is of Celine's line, but that's really cool. I like that idea.
There's just so many places that the story could go, especially with all the lore that we've gotten from all the other series as well,
Yes. So down on page 87. Basically, what's interesting is that it says, so this is talking about their powers. And Feyre's talking to Lucian. She's like, what sort of powers do you have? Can you shapeshift like Tamlin? And he's like, no, I can't shapeshift. And then he says, High Fae don't have specific powers the way lesser fairies do. And that is just like a one specific power, like cleaning everything. I'm assuming it's like making plants grow like Flynn and his sister in Crescent City. And then it says, I don't clean everything in sight or lure mortals into their watery death, which is the Kelpie, or grant you answers to whatever questions you might have if you trap me, obviously, which is the Surreal. We just exist to rule. So, but that's interesting to me because we don't have specific powers, but don't we know that they have fire powers in the Autumn Court? And we know that Tamlin has shape-shifting. Like, what do you mean the High Fae don't have specific powers the way lesser Fae? What do you mean? That's so weird. Who's talking about Vespi? My mother. I love her. But I think that's so weird. What do you mean?
Alice, that was our exact theory that we talked about last time, that what if Mama Archeron died because of an unfulfilled bargain?
With every world jump, their sustenance changes. That could be a way we differentiate them, which is also very true. She took Vespi's face before she left. So, yeah, I don't know. Wait, hold on. I'm going to see where you're talking about. I think Mavis Thea. That's a really cool idea. Mavis Thea. She is very powerful. She did take Vesperis's power. I think Maeve took Vesperis's form when she peered into the resting realm. So when she's learning how to world walk, the first thing that she does is she peers into the realm of resting, and she asks a female being to help her, and she says no. And Vesperis, obviously, they look exactly alike, which I think if her lineage goes down, that Thea is of her lineage, and then Selene and Helena, who look exactly like Rhysand and Rune, who look exactly like Vesperis, who looks exactly like Maeve. And Maeve is not in her true form. I think that Maeve took Vesperis's form, saw her in the realm of resting, thought she looked beautiful, and to back that up, a little tiny thing is that Vesperis also has a repeat instance of telling Bryce, "I'm not helping you." She has declined helping people twice in the small interaction that they have when someone's seeking their help. So I think that's really interesting. Where does Dorian get it from? I don't know. Maybe he's like a part of. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Yeah. Well, we already know that the king was already had vault. Like, is it because his father was already had Volg inside of him? You know, that created some kind of weird.
Which is why he's always like, "Am I human?
Yeah.
Or am I Valg?"
Yeah, like he's like panicked over it.
Dorian's papa. They have raw power and elemental power. He says the Daglin, sorry, I can't see. He says the Daglin created them. So the Daglin create the High Fae. So, I know that it talks about the Daglin's creation. It also says that the mother when she created the world, basically the Daglins thought that the world was created for them. So that's why I also think that the gods realm, that the Daglin and the gods are different. And maybe while the gods were gone, did the Daglin seep in? I don't really know. I haven't really thought about the order of those things yet, but
yeah.
In the same way that it's described that when the mother came to Aurelia, kingdoms had already existed. Like they already were there. So I think I don't know. It's so hard to say because it's like you're trying to think in the moment to give your answer.
I know.
Did the Daglin create the High Fae? Well, if you consider the Daglin to be like the Olympians or like gods, then it could be because Zeus created beings to like in certain images to work the lands depending on what age of man you're in. I think that's like the Bronze Age. It's so funny because it's like the Golden Age, the Silver. We were talking about this Golden, Silver, Bronze Age of Heroes, which is aligned with the timeline of Prithian too. Prithian is very much like mimicking the creation of life.
Oh no!
Which is why I think it's the gods. Oh no! Can you see me?
Now I can. Yeah. I don't know if you froze for anyone else, but you froze for me.
Hard. Wouldn't that just make Dorian a witch? Oh wait, sorry. Dorian's Papa's Valg. I love that every time. In Crown of Midnight, they mention Dorian's eyes like an ancestor. Well, he has the same sapphire eyes as Vesperis. And what's interesting is that sapphire can be on a scale of blue. It doesn't have to be. They refer to it as blue, but sapphire and violet is like trying to miscue us. Like one is purple and one is blue. They are a sliding scale. Like she could be saying either. And I think that just in the same way where she doesn't mention people's blood sometimes, it's like Dasha was saying on my video earlier, it's like if she mentions it, it gives it away. So I think that's why she tries to kind of sneak around
there
it.
are a lot of times where she'll say like their eyes were so blue they looked violet. So it's like, are they violet or are they blue? You know, like it's that whole hiding behind the thing. I'm trying to think, where did we...
I was on.
Oh yeah, okay. Question about what chapter are we in? Chapter 9 on 88. I have highlighted. They're like talking about the Suriel, and he says the Suriel, they're old and wicked and not worth the danger of going out to find them. And if you're stupid enough to keep looking so intrigued, I'm going to become rather suspicious and tell Tamlin to put you under house arrest. But we know that like Lucian is smart and sly. Do you think he's like, because Fayr's pretty much done the opposite of everything that they've asked her to do? Do you think he's like saying this because he's like,
I think that's his role. I think his role is to be the bickering. Like Tamlin doesn't have time to bicker with her because his job is to make her fall in love with him. So I think that Lucian kind of fills that role of like the bickery, which is like what makes their whole dynamic interesting, because without it, it would be so boring.
I know. No, I love that he's like her best friend. I don't know. They become best friends, I think, but maybe not Lucian. And I love their dynamic so much. Like mostly because I just love Lucian so much.
And he could easily, I mean, Tamlin obviously would have had a fit, would have thrown a fit about it, and it would have screwed them over. But he had 4 pages ago was like, just kill her, which is such a weird thing to say if you're in your mind, like, what, are you trying to scare her? Because if you're trying to make her comfortable, saying just kill her right in front of her is not making her comfortable. So then why say just kill her when you need her to break the curse, and then 4 pages later you're saving her from the.
Well, so how I view him being like just kill her, that was giving Tamlin the opportunity to play savior. Like, no, we're not going to kill her. We're civilized. We're this. So then she views Tamlin in a positive light. Like, okay, he wants to kill me, but Tamlin, for whatever reason, wants to save me. Like,
yeah, that's a really good idea. He knows Fable will do the opposite. Yeah, that's funny. Stubborn. I love me a stubborn girl. That's just because I'm a Taurus. Sorry. That's really interesting, though. That's a good point. All right, 90. Are we on chapter 10?
Yeah.
The creeping, leeching cold lurched by, which is hell. Vague shimmering in the corner of my vision. Who said it? Was it Missy who said that she can see beyond glamour sometimes?
Yeah. Is that like the clairvoyance? She's definitely
maybe it's not.
She can hear.
Yeah. Yes, which I guess I shouldn't have said glamour, but the shimmering is that she can see more, I guess. Anyway, we've already said that.
Mm-hmm. I have at the bottom of that beginning, like, what is that chapter, or I mean page 90, when she's like trying to think of things to like distract her mind, she has like a starry unclouded night, peaceful and glittering and endless. Like, Valara is in for it.
It ends up helping her, yeah.
Right.
A refreshing bath in a forest pool.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not the starlight, whatever?
Right. And then later when she, when they're like talking about it on page 91, it says, a shiver spider walked down my spine. There's so much spider imagery, and that always relates back to the Vogue. Like, I mean, the giant freaking spiders in Throne of Glass, like, they're all...
Yeah, and spiders in mythology are weaving a fate. So this could also symbolize that she's on her path, like an angel number. You know, she's getting the shimmery down her spine. It's like she's learning the lesson, she's learning the lore of the place, she's going in the right direction. So it could be like the universe sort of aligning her with her fate. But in the same, I have to talk to you about that, about my crazy theory later. It's just too much. I don't want to talk about it on the here the whole time.
Any other way, but the fact that it was spider walked, you know, like,
that's so cool.
I feel like this is when I was like, I have less tabs because I was like kind of rushing through these chapters because I was so far behind.
That's okay. I feel like I have.
But I do like, this is when we start seeing like sassy Lucian, like on the next page on 92, and he's like, shit, Farah, I'm not that old. Like,
I know, that was so funny.
I love it so much. I love him.
And then, how come nobody can kill the bogey but Tamlin? Tamlin can.
Okay. I have that on the end of the next page where I feel like that's showing us again how powerful Tamlin is. Where like when you get to later books, Rhys is like chest puffed and he's like, I'm the most powerful High Lord. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, and he doesn't show it. Like he's just telling everyone, like demoting them into thinking that. Whereas here's Tamlin not saying, he's like, I gotta go do this thing, and Lucian is like, yeah, no one else can kill it, but Tamlin can. And their power is suppressed still, technically. Like, this is working on what? It's supposed to be like 20%?
Mm-hmm. It's like Hunt Athalar being so powerful, but he's held back by the tattoo, and it's like the tattoo where the halo crowns made in the image of the spells that Amarantha used to make the masks withhold their power.
Yeah.
It's like they took the Illyrian tattoos and the withholding or like the dampening spell, and they put it into a crown tattoo.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, that's clairvoyant. And in my theory, maybe that they maybe come from the witch's line. I agree. Tamlin made everyone shield walking into a room. Rhysand isn't the most powerful. I don't like to admit it, but Rhys is most powerful. He muted Tamlin. It's so funny that he did that, though. And also, someone made a good point a while back. I saw that, you know, people don't usually stand 10 toes down against them because they're very strong, but Lucian does. And is it after? Is the moment that Lucian kind of steps to Rhys, is it after Tamlin doesn't do the right? And remember that girl's video about Tamlin didn't do the right, so did the magic pass over to Lucian because he did the right with Ianthe? And is that why Lucian sort of faces off with Rhysand?
Yeah.
Is it Rhysand that he faces off with, or is it Tam? Is he like buck back to Tamlin or Rhysand? I can't remember. I think it's in ACOTAR.
I can't remember. But Tamlin at that point is like living in his beast form. Like he's like tapped out. You know what I mean? He's just like done.
And that's when he would have said, I'm not doing the right Ianthe. Oh wait, no. Yeah, because that's when ACOTAR is when Lucian and Feyre leave and they go back. Yeah, so that would have all happened in that book. So when Lucian did the right for Rhysand, the girl's video basically is saying, I need to get her name. It's like, I can't remember for some reason. But yeah, she says that Lucian takes over the power. And then towards the middle or end of that book, Lucian kind of stands against Rhys. So that defends her theory, that backs her theory. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just have like more on page 94. I just like a note, like more Beauty and the Beast imagery, like how he's just like how Lucian is describing him. Like he's, you know, he gets in this mode and he's just like protecting his cord, and he's like gruff, you know, like the way he speaks, he's just like very beast like, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Are we in? I'm on 96.
Here at the very end, when she sees her father, doesn't in Beauty and the Beast the father come try to save? I mean, I know it's not really her father, but the imagery of it reminds me of,
Papa.
Yeah, when Belle's dad comes to try to like, you know, I was like, oh, that's kind of Beauty and the Beastie like imagery.
I love every time I hear Papa Archer, I'm like, Papa. I hear Belle's voice, Papa. But the puka, when it's like trying to trick her and then it runs back towards the gate, again, the imagery is on page 96, second chapter, middle of the sentence. It says, I hurried after my father. He moved with surprising swiftness towards the darkened hedges and the gate beyond. Again, the gate that marks between the underworld and whatever is outside of it. And then later it says, oh yeah, my father reached the gates. They were already open into the dark forest beyond, beckoning. And let's see.
Let's see.
And then on 97, this is like Tamlin, I guess, working with Alice, I guess, because he says to her, weren't you warned to keep your wits about you, that your human senses would betray you? And Alice told her that. So either he's eavesdropping or mind reading, or Alice and him are working together.
I think he's directing it. Like everyone has their role to play. Like, because he knows he can't be the one to tell her all of these things and still get her to fall in love with him. So he, like, Alice has her role. Lucian has his role. Like, there are all these roles that people are playing. So it's like, yeah, he knows what they're saying to her and doing with her. But, like, yeah, I think that's kind of that foreshadowing to the curse.
Yes. A couple comments really quick. So Di and Dasha were saying that it's Cheryl Book Talk. I'll share it to my stories today if I can find her. So if you guys want to follow her, I've mentioned her last time. She has really great videos. And then Dasha's talking about the women who run with the wolves. She sent me so many awesome excerpts from that freaking book. It just has so much lore that fits in with all of this. It's just talking about like I can't even. Dasha can give you like the quick little thing if you'd like to talk about it. But you guys haven't picked up that book. She recommended it to me, and Di saying she loves it too. It has such cool connections to all of this stuff. If you guys like that kind of stuff. Why in 5 books, not even once, were said the names of the Archeron parents? Yeah, nameless. So weird. So weird. Nameless, just like the gods. When Farah finds the wall, there's stones with whorls at the gate. I know. I think this too. There's the broken pieces of the gate. There's the broken pieces of the cauldron. So, yeah, I think that goes hand in hand. That's really crazy. Oh, Alice seems to know the book too, so we need to read that book.
The woman. The High Lord's surnames. Me too. Because yeah, the only one we get is Vincera, the Autumn Court, Lucian's family. They're the only ones we have their last name.
I had like a weird, I don't even know where this is going to take me, but I had a weird thought the other day. What if, some people say Nesta is meant to be with Eris, which I love. I love Eris.
Me too.
And it's obviously fiery and flamey. And some people also say that Eris could be the Autumn King. I haven't like thought that through. But what if like the reason that Bryce and Nesta are so connected is that what if there is some sort of continuity issue between like the timeline, and what if like Nesta and Eris are the ancestors of Bryce and the Autumn King, and maybe that's why they both together can open the gate, because I just was kind of trying to think of how they can fit
I
together.
love that.
So fun. Lady Autumn, why is she nameless? I like to think Reese is yellow legs. You're funny. She always cracks me up. Okay. I'm on page 97. Oh, wait. Oh, I wrote, have you guys heard that sound that's going around that's like, yuck? With the girl who ate the food, who ate the mac and cheese. Anyway, I was saying, it says there are worse things than the bogey crawling in these woods at night. And I said, yuck, because can you imagine living in a world where creatures like that roamed around? I would cease to exist.
Yeah, here I have on 98, basically going back to that theory of that promise to her mother being a bargain, because she's saying, I was hunting to save my family, to put food in their bellies. Now I'm forced to break it. And then that's when, and she's like fighting him. She's like, I can't give up on them. Like, no matter what you say. And then that's when he's like, they are fed and comfortable. And then she's like questioning, she's like, then ... my vow to my mother was fulfilled. Like now she's starting to be like, well, my life was now owned by the treaty, but perhaps I'd been freed in another sort of way. So now she's starting to question her life. Like, what do I do? Like,
yeah, and she's very easily, I have that highlighted too, she's very easily like, oh, well then it was fulfilled. I'm totally fine. I believe everything you say from now on.
Right.
But yeah, she does seem to be letting go of that. Her law, which is her bargain to her mother. She's replacing one bargain with the other. That's they said the court moving to CC happened the same amount of years ago. I know. I just thought it was funny because I know people talk about that. What if the Autumn King is Arabin? He's not, but they look similar. To me, like when you look at the wiki fandoms, their images are similar, which is so funny. I think all the timelines happen at the same time. I think KOG is so far in the past.
That's why I'm telling you, you need to go watch Dark, because you're gonna start getting like this whole different view on how things can like.
Yeah, and which is maybe what they're saying. I think that they're like same time, like stacked, but I know it's so hard because they go through space and time, so it's like so hard to describe. You're out here jumping into bargains left and right. I know, girls loose with the bargains,
That's
okay?
all. I'm trying to keep track of like all her bargains, and it's like, geez, I'm missing. I know I'm missing them, but like it even on the very next page, on page 100, like after the little like jump here, she's like, without the weight of that promise, I was left feeling hollow and empty. Like she's like starting to feel like
Yeah,
she
she's
needs.
like, I've done everything I was supposed to do. Now what?
Yeah, like now what? What is that? Why she like keeps getting into all these bargains? Like, girl,
Yeah.
just live your life.
Yeah, she feels like she needs to be doing something. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
The next page I have stuff on page 101. I'm sure you do too. Where like before we get to her like dreaming, but they're, you know, talking about the bog and or boggy or whatever it is. And Lucian is like talking about Tamlin and his position. He's like, you don't hold on to power by being everyone's friend. And among fairies, lesser and high fae alike, a firm hand is needed. We're too powerful and too bored with immortality to be checked by anything else.
they like to play with their food because they're bored.
Mm-hmm.
Underworld. Sorry. How many times can I say it?
And it's another, so I have that as lore, but it also to me is just like another bid to how powerful, excuse me, how powerful Tamlin is. Like, he's keeping
Yeah.
these other super powerful fae and beings in check because he's more powerful.
Yeah. I mean, he's he's manhandling, he's fey handling these he's killing the unkillable basically.
Right.
So that power is sort of coming innately from him, which is very interesting. They're saying that Feyre is Lydia. Dasha said, "No, not my Lydia." I love Lydia. I think they're in one of the hells from CC. Yeah, I think that too, to a degree. I think that I wonder, is hell the underside of Prithian,
Mm-hmm.
or is it Prithian, or
Mm-hmm.
like, and is the earth and the natural world the mortal realm, and then Prithian sort of delineates the underworld? I think that, I mean, it doesn't have, again, the underworld isn't always, which Angie hopefully will back me up, but the underworld, and especially in other stories of Hades, is just a place where the dead souls go. It's not just bad. I think that it's a very much an aspect of Christianity that makes it like demonic,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be that way. That's where the dead go, including heroes.
Yeah,
Elysium.
it's just the afterlife.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this one is right above hell. Yeah. And also it could be, some people say that hell is it the reverse side? Like, do you go down into hell and this is level 1, or is it flipped on the opposite side? So the bottom is the worst level closest to the ground. You know what I mean? Sort of
Mm-hmm.
like how they were saying in mythology, Helios brings the sun, but then you can get into like he goes around this like cone and goes back through the earth. He never shines light on the underworld. There's so much underworld mythology, but basically people wonder, like, is the underworld, is level 1 directly under us, or is that the bottommost level upside down? Does that make sense? It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. And that makes me think that the princes of hell, I don't think, for a while I was like, the lesser you go, as in the lesser number, trench, hollow, ravine, no, trench, hollow, whatever the other one is. I wonder, it might be ravine. I wonder if they are, instead of less powerful or less bad, I wonder if they are less civilized, because
Mm.
because Apollyon is the most powerful and the darkest or the deepest, but he seems to have like the most like sense about him, or at
Right.
least the word Adis, and then whoever the gap is, which I think is Reese. I think Reese could be the Prince of the Abyss, and then number 7. Those are like the ones with more sense about them, whereas Thanatos kind of is off the cuff. Like, he's very much reactive, and he's getting closer to the lessers, which I think could mark them as less civilized. I think Azriel is. I know I kind of go back and forth, but I feel like Azriel is maybe just a descendant of Analius,
I know. I think a lot of people think he's one of the princes because of Bryce landing in front of him, but I think that is supposed to be what's hiding. Like,
That's their
I think
bond.
it's supposed to throw us off. Like, that she has to be taken to Prince of Hell and she lands in front of Azrael, and so we think, oh, maybe he's Prince of Hell. And then there's the sword and dagger thing, and we're like, oh, well, that's why. And it's like, no, I think it's because they're mates.
Yeah, I think that like both. I think that because the sword pulls them back, I do think it's because they're mates. I agree with Dasha. I think that Az is a son of Hell, like a making of Hell, which would be like like the lineage of Annalius, because I think that where the Daglin think that they made the Illyrians, I think that they also that Hell sneakily made the Illyrians in their image in the same way that they made Hell. I mean, they made Hunt sneakily, but Hunt is not a prince of Hell. He is a son of Hell, like Dasha is saying. So I think Az is falling into that too. And we went on a whole long voice note back and forth about Bryce Real. We love them. But yeah, I think there's a lot of a language that describes Reese's power as an abyss, and obviously the Sixth Prince is the abyss. So that's where I'm coming from with it, but I don't. It's not proven, obviously. But it does say that he's death incarnate, and part of the reason why I don't think that the Valg kings are like the kings of hell is that Erewhon's power is described as not as powerful as death incarnate, and that would put Reese as more powerful than one of the rulers of hell, which I don't. The only thing is that could put him up higher and with his. I don't know. I have a lot of. I could go off on a tangent about that. Let's not do that. I could talk for way too long. They need a shadow wielder and a light wielder for powering up the Starborn. Yeah, which is like the repeat of Thea and Adis, which is again the reason that because remember it's like why did Thea just throw her husband into a bog? Because she made a deal. She brokered a deal with Hell and said, "You give me these tools, I will give you this man." Why is he so significant? I don't know. Why does Fion falling into the bog, the land dies with this king, but not all of Prithian dies, but he's the king of all of Prithian. And the northern part of Prithian doesn't die, which is where his kingdom is. Only the bog dies. And then in the dying of this king, she gets two weapons, one which is light, which resembles her power, and one which is a black light, which is Adis's power. Adis wields a black light. Truth Teller has a black light. So it is the like dark and light balance of like Prithian and Hell. And I think that Bryce and Azrael are that image repeating itself in the same way that Bryce and Hunt are that image repeating themselves, because it's like it's said in Azrael's Rat Club, they've made a really good point where it's like Azrael is another version of Hunt. Like they were both made for the same reason, to do the same thing, to be the partner to Bryce.
But I think it's reverse. I think Hunt is a version of Azrael. I think Azrael came first.
Yeah, I just said it backwards. I just meant
yeah.
like
Yeah. And that's why I think it's so confusing why people believe that Hunt is her actual mate, but they're not.
Even the Autumn King says, he's like, Rune says they're mated, they're like, they're together. You'll never, whatever. They're together if you're gonna have her be with Cormac, like that's messed up. And he's like, I don't smell Hunt's scent on her, so they haven't consummated their relationship. So what that tells me is that when Rune scents her later, it's because scenting is just a product of consummating. It doesn't mean that they're mates. They're not specifically scenting matehood. And even though he's made, just like that girl, she posted the best video about how when people meet, we were talking, remember, we just watched it where it was like how we didn't get to see their meeting.
Yes, like their meet cute.
So cute. Let's not fall into the romanticism. Yeah, he was like, is it possible that she went back there and found him? Yeah. So cute.
I agree with Di. Yeah, what if Hunt was just made to control Bryce? I don't think not just to control her. I think to fill the gap that Azrael is supposed to be. They want her power, right? Like they're after her starborn power, and they're like, okay, well, we need someone to charge her up. Let's make, since her mate isn't here, we're gonna make her one.
which she said, how did you know that I was going to get to Prithian? And they said, or not Prithian, but like the land of the Starborn Fae. And they say we didn't, which is why we had this backup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, I think that their plan, it does have an ulterior motive for themselves. But I think that their plan is their ulterior motive is that if it's if hell is the underworld, which I think it is, then that's where souls go. And if the Asteri are consuming second light, the Underking says that second light is a soul, our souls. So I mean, I think that it just feels like the Asteri are conquerors. They're in a place where they normally aren't taking stuff from, and they are taking the resources from this like system of consciousness where souls typically go to this place when they're done, but they're being intercepted by Asteri. So I think that hell is just like, get the hell out of our system. This is our food.
Yeah.
You know, that's why Thanatos says, I used to drink from souls like wine. He's not saying like the magic of the land like wine, like Daglanar.
Bye, Dasha.
Love you, Dasha. Thank you so much for coming. I know I gotta go soon too. I gotta go help my husband with all my crazy kids.
No, I feel like we almost made it. Oh wait, this is the very end.
Oh wait, last page.
Yeah. The only thing that I have left tagged is when she's dreaming, right? And it says, I didn't dare turn to look at it to see who might be within that shadow, observing, not as the wolf stared at me across the cliff, the shadow. Like, to me, I'm like, that's Rhysand.
Right. Yeah, and then
he's the what? The High Lord of Nightmares or whatever. What's he called? The King of Nightmares or the something of Nightmares?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So like he gives people's he's in her dreams. He's in her mind. He's in her dreams. He's giving her a nightmare. A nightmare, I mean, that she is like freaking out over. Like, could you imagine having that dream where the wolf turns back into its Fae form and she's
and she has to go through with killing a human, like, or like a person, and she's like being put through this, like, do you realize it's almost like her subconscious is saying, you did this act, you didn't just take the life of an animal, which is not insignificant, but like it even more so significantly, you took the life of a being who is like conscious. To the same level that you are. And while she's facing that inner battle, it's almost like Rhys is peering through and he's saying, do it again, because I had no control over my fingers, absolutely none. And he was still staring as I fired, but I have no control over my fingers. So Rhys, the shadow in her dream, is completing that motion again. And it's almost like convincing her that it was right. And then it says in the next page, a plume of blood splattering the snow, a thud of a heavy body, a sigh of wind. That is Rhys taking a breath and is like, good, I've completed the cycle. Like, I've like almost subconsciously made this cycle complete in your head. Does that make sense?
Completely. Yeah. That's right. He's like reinforced. Not only is he torturing her because he loves to torture, like he does. He loves to torture. He's him. But he's also reiterating to her, like, this had to be done. This needs to be done. You know. But I also do think he's torturing her for just the fun of it.
Dasha said, I think she's gone, but she said earlier, it confuses me. Why are all the snake imagery with Hunt? I guess because he's a prince of hell, and there's a lot of snake imagery with the underworld. Specifically, what is it? I'm going to butcher this word. It's Norse mythology. It's like Jorgamund, whatever, which is the world serpent, which is... it just kind of goes into a mythology of like the underworld. And so I think that that's probably why it's connected. Enter Ragnarok. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Norse mythology. That's my whole bread and butter. I love Norse and Greek mythology. I'm actually getting just into some Mesopotamian and Sumerian stuff, which is really cool. Okay, wait. Except the pack of devils went through the gate, had their second light taken, but still ended up in the afterlife. Did they have it taken? Because they all put their second light into that bullet, which means that it wasn't consumed by I'm not for sure. I'm just for my memory. Didn't they all put their second light into the what is it called? The God rifle? What
I
was
know.
the rifle called? Jessica had a rifle. I can't remember what it's called. And they put all of their second light into that bullet, which was what they ended up using to like blow up the first light core. So I'm wondering if because it becomes a void, and that is what Apollyon is, like the everything comes from chaos, which is a void. All of the descriptions of the levels of hell are markers, the abyss, the pit, the ravine, all of these things are equal to um the void and also the afterlife. So I'm just wondering if the second light goes into the void, is that the equivalent of like it's still maybe getting back to them? I don't exactly
Right.
know. SJM confirmed the shadow her nightmare is Reese. Yes. Reese is Cerberus. Valeris is Glamored Hell's Gate. Bryce
Hades to be.
was
Ooh.
in the right place to land. Which, yeah, I do think that Godslayer, thank you, Di, what they could afford to put in the bullet. Nyx is Hades. He was meant to be stillborn, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what is going to happen around Nyx. I do not like a pregnancy trope. But I feel like it's got to be a plot driver, right? Because something's going to revolve around that. And we have like the bone carver imagery. We've got, so like what's going to come of that?
I know. Oh my gosh, there's so many things.
I
The
know.
recent Cerberus, I think, is really interesting because I think also there's a lot of imagery of Cerberus. Di has a little slideshow about Ryaxis resembling Cerberus. I also, which is like guarding the gate within the library. I also think that, I mean, obviously, the shepherd is Cerberus as well, who guards the crossing, which is in Norse mythology what separates the underworld. Is it Norse? I might be wrong about that, but I believe that the crossing is like the river Styx. It's basically how you get to the underworld. You make the crossing. Pregnancy tropes. Yeah, I cannot stand it. We're moms, and I'm just like, I don't want to freaking, because it's like as soon as you do that, it's like you're neatly packaged up and then it's called it a day. Everyone has to protect you.
Right.
You know,
It's just like
the only person who ever did a pregnancy right was Irene. And honestly, I feel like it still was like, I think we were all like, girl, time and place, okay?
yeah.
Maybe not now, you know? Hold up, Hades was supposed to be stillborn. Are you saying that? I don't know if that's true, but maybe there's some mythology about Nyx being stillborn, Nyx, the goddess of night. It's also interesting that she does like the gender swap for a lot of these, like how Nesta has so much imagery with Thor, and obviously, someone posted on Reddit. I saw that Sarah J. Maas in her deleted Pinterest, where she has like all of the imagery that people like link to their theories. There's an image of a female version of Thor, which is cool because Nesta's like hammering her weapons and she imbued them. So that's super cool. Hades was in one version stillborn and swallowed by his father. Ooh. His father as in one of the Titans?
I can't find it. The only thing that I see right here, it's actually comes from a lore from a video game, but it says the son of the god Hades and Persephone, Zagreus, is initially stillborn due to a prophecy that Hades would have no heir, causing Persephone to flee the underworld. The goddess Nyx, which that's strange, and it's spelled Nyx, later revives Zagreus and conceals his existence and Persephone's location to prevent conflict between the gods.
What sticks out there too is that it was prophesized that he wouldn't have any children, which is giving Rune. It looks like them. Because Rune was prophesized by the oracle that the line would end with him, that he wouldn't have any heirs.
I'm also kind of getting like Hades being Reese still, because I mean, Feyre was like, I don't want to have, like, she was like, I want to enjoy our lives. I don't want to have children. Like, I just want to, whatever. And then eventually, after she went to like visit the Weavers, she was like, oh yeah, I want to have children. After she heard this story about the Weavers saying she was glad that she had children because after her husband was gone, she had a piece left of him. But if Feyre and Reese have a death bargain where when one goes, the other goes, then their child is going to be left parentless. So what is the point of that convincing her to actually have a child? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it seemed like it was very intentional. Like, he's like, I want an heir. I need an heir. Like, there's something that he wants an heir for. So then she's convinced. They have Nyx. Nyx was supposed to be stillborn here, almost, you know, and then even though, like, now it's kind of combining these two characters where it's saying Nyx revives Zagreus and then conceals their existence. So that kind of makes me think, like, Nesta, who revived Feyre and Nyx, and is Nesta going to be concealing Nyx and Feyre from Rhys? Like, this feeds into my Rhys being one of the bads. Like, and I don't think there's...
because she can ward and she can access and sort of stand, you know, toe to toe with Rhys as far as how he does warding.
And he's afraid of Nesta. That's why he wants to control her so much. He's afraid of her. And if he's this all-powerful High Lord, why is he afraid of Nesta?
Nesta.
I know.
Nesta, aka Deanna.
Nyx is the most terrifying goddess. Even Zeus is afraid of her, Alice says.
Oh, that's funny.
The weaver's name is Arena, yeah, which means spider, Stygian spider, which is Vogue. And the weaver also wasn't it described as like weaving, like, wasn't she working on, like, basically, like, this super black, pitless...
That was the weaver in the Illyrian camps. Her husband went away to war and he died, and so the void that she felt in her heart, she tried to mimic, and so she makes the fabric called the void, and it is unnatural, the same as Vesperus's hair.
Yeah, so, like, again, Stygian spider... Like,
yeah, and links there to that also are that there is like a unnatural darkness with the King Morbin's throne has like this unnatural dark, because he has like the shadows around it, and then it's weaved in and out with like a silvery thread, which is also marked by the fabric that the weaver makes called the void. And then there's also like the silvery reflection in the description of Vesperus with her black hair. So there is like this repeating black and silver, and it's always a void. Super black referred to as a void with iridescent thread. There you go. I probably do have to run off of here soon.
I know. Well, we got to the end of chapter 11 anyway.
We did it.
We'll do the next 5 chapters.
Yeah.
I guess. And then, oh my God, can you hear my cat howling? I hope not. This is supposed to be like blocking background noise, but he is howling.
I didn't even notice till you said it, so it's okay.
Yeah, we'll do the next 5 chapters. Did we like the daytime time, or?
I feel like there's like different groups. I like both. Maybe we can just be flexible with it depending on like what our schedules are. Because it is kind of like hard in the middle of the day every weekend to do this, because it's like our weekend time and our family time. So maybe we can alternate, because when we do the late night one, at least like my kids can be in bed and I'm not like taking from our family time. But
yeah, thank you guys for joining. It was so much fun, and you guys had so much good lore. I tried to take notes, but if you guys want to like DM us the like big stuff to remind us, we do have the Fable.
Oh, I need to do that.
Book club. So if you're on Fable, go to clubs, and it's just ACOTAR Reread. I'm one of the hosts. We have like 5 or 6 people in our club on there.
No, I need to get on there. Sorry.
And so it's like spoiler-free chapter updates, which is super cool. Absolutely loved Fable just in general. But we'll update like times and stuff on there. I thought it would be fun that like if you guys are in the club, like maybe sometime we could do like book club exclusive, like off of live, like just do like an actual like book club meetup, like Zoom call or something like that.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
That could be fun. That would be so fun.
Yeah. So, join that. And yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
this was so fun. Did anyone in the comments have is this a good time for people? I know that like people in Central European time zone can't make the late night ones. So I think we are still just going to play it by ear. We'll put
right.
our notices up and it'll be either on her profile or mine. We're going to switch off and we got to figure out, I got to figure out how to get my grid up. Maybe you and I can practice.
Yeah.
But
And
I'll try again next weekend if that's cool with you, Megan, to host on mine.
for sure. And if you guys miss a live, the last one is up on YouTube, on my YouTube, Megan Gadd, just my name, and then I'll put this one up there too, either tomorrow or the next couple days, just to have if anyone wants to relive it or share it or.
And I'm gonna do a recap too of my walkthroughs, but yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. It's fun for me. Yay, yeah, we'll switch it up back and forth. We'll put notices, and this was so fun. Thank you guys for actually chatting with us, and it's not just us talking to each other.
Yeah. I feel like we did really good staying on track this time.
I do too. We had a plan, even though it was like 15 minutes before. What should we do? But yeah, I think we did a great job. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope that we see you there next time. And hopefully I'll get it figured out.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy.
Want to pose for your picture? Okay. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.